Hey, this is Don from Padlock Technologies once again with another question and answer video. The question today is going to be talking about secure access. I know I haven't done a secure access video in a while, but this is talking about the question basically was if I am doing SGT based enforcement or TrustSec enforcement using SGTs, obviously that's a part of TrustSec, how can I use secure access to enforce SGTs. Now, I did make a video about this. It was like a brief description, so this is just a more detailed um, explanation, basically. So, let's start with the titles here, and we're going to talk about SGTs in secure access. So, there is no direct API integration here when it comes to SGTs and secure access. What you basically have to do, and I'm just going to draw out, say, ICE here, right? And I'm just going to do a single node just to illustrate what you would do here. And then we have our network, internal network here. All right, internal network. And then we'll have, I'll just say some nodes, some NADs here. Say these are switches. All right, and plug it here. Now, basically, I did a TrustSec video when, let's say, I'll use, when users plug into the switch, user, this could be an IoT device if you wanted to say that. They're going to be assigned, if you got everything set up correctly, an SGT value. All right. This could also go to, VPN users, stuff like that. But let's just say SGT value for wired. So in ICE, there's such thing called a PX Grid Cloud. So what you would do is you're going to do integration between ICE and PX Grid Cloud. All right. PX Grid Cloud, that's going to send that SGT information to PX Grid Cloud. Basic, setup. Now, what does that really have to do with secure access? Well, you have to integrate. Let's say we have CSA for Cisco Secure Access. Now you have to integrate PX Cloud with Cisco Secure Access so that that SGT information ends up in secure access. Once it is in secure access via PX Cloud, which is also integrated with your on-prem ICE implementation. Now, when I say on-prem, this does not mean it needs to be in your actual on-site. This could be in Azure, AWS, whatever. It's just a physical or virtual appliance that's doing the authentication and authorization. But long as that SGT information is there, the next now how you would use it is your access policy. So your access policy now, you can do source SGT to destination SGT. All right. Now, I would be careful with doing source to destination SGT because unless you're using SASE or Cisco Secure Access, basically that's what it is. Unless you're using that to do site-to-site communication and stuff like that, you're really not going to do source and destination. You're mainly going to be focusing on the source, right? The source SGT. And you would do something like, let's say you had an SGT for employees. So you would have a rule, and we're going to say the rule sets over here. We're going to put a big line. The rule would basically say SGT employees, if they have that on there, they are not allowed. So we're going to say not allowed to go to Facebook. And that'd be a web category, right? Now, what this does is it decouples the IP to enforcement strategy, right? The subnet to enforcement strategy. You no longer have to worry about that. The SGT will follow them no matter where they go. And as long as they're using secure access to pretty much get out to the internet and do stuff like that, you can enforce based on that SGT value. what this really comes down to is, again, you probably heard this or probably haven't heard this. Identity ID is the new perimeter. All right. Your enforcement is no longer based on subnet and IP values. That is the old traditional way. You're now enforcing based on identity. You can do AD or you can do SGTs. If you do AD, if you do not have TrustSec involved, or you can, if you do have TrustSec kind of planned and deployed already, you would utilize SGTs to kind of do these enforcement policies and secure access. Now, you're probably going to ask me which one is the best one, and I kind of just answered that saying, hey, if you're not doing TrustSec, you can do your AD groups. If you are doing TrustSec and it's properly planned out and you have your classification propagation, well, this is technically going to be on the classification and enforcement side, because the propagation is going to come from this integration between ICE PX Grade Cloud and Cisco Secure Access. But once you have the classification right, and you can pretty much have enforcement pretty easy in secure access, actually, because your policies are not based on the TrustSec matrix that's in ICE. It's actually based on the access control policy here. It's actually based on this in Cisco Secure Access. So that was a brief little explanation about how to get SGTs into secure access, stuff that you already are doing. If you're doing TrustSec on a campus network or something like that, you're already doing that. So you just need to get those SGT and IP to SGT mapping values into secure access. And that is done via PX Grid Cloud integration with Cisco Secure Access. Hopefully that answers your question. Keep those questions coming. I'm going to keep putting links in the description if you want to have a discovery session, but this was pretty much a Q&A session here, our Q&A video. Hopefully this video was informative. Thank you and have a nice day.